Welcome to the latest in our series of RCA videos, our how-to series. Today we're going to be looking at a very significant part of the RCA process, something which is called the focal point. The focal point of an RCA is absolutely critical because whether it's a problem, a risk, or an opportunity that the RCA team are looking to deal with, the problem definition or the defined risk or the clear opportunity starts our analysis. It's the lens in which we look through. Hence, it's often described as that focal point. It's critical because it delivers the scope and the scale of an RCA. And what's quite interesting is that even small changes in language in the focal point can have a very significant change in both that scope and scale of RCA. So I'm going to use the What Caused This software as a tool to demonstrate to you today how even small changes in language on that focal point could have significant implications when it comes to analysis. So if I go into some analysis that I've prepped to demonstrate this simple principle, you can see here that I've begun an RCA and I've nothing more on my RCA than essentially my starting place, my focal point, which is my unscheduled system shutdown in this case. So I and my team are investigating an unscheduled system shutdown at our organisation. So ultimately that's where we start, and we're hoping that our causal logic, our root cause analysis, will drive us back towards the systemic root causes, plural, of that particular incident. So let me demonstrate the principle at large today. If you look on the screen here, you can see that I've prepped a couple of cause boxes in advance, and I'm going to use what's called the cause stack in our system, which effectively is a parking lot for ideas. I'm going to use those just to begin the initial analysis of this RCA. So from our focal point of unscheduled system shutdown, I'm going to draw a couple of cause boxes onto the chart, and we'll see that those now sit neatly on that chart. We can see that my team at the moment have recognised that we had an unscheduled system shutdown in this particular scenario because our software failed, and we require that specific software to operate the system. And with a focal point of unscheduled system shutdown, that's probably a fairly comprehensive starting place. The investigation would follow those two branches from there. The top branch of we requiring that software to operate the system, well, that would look at why we require a specific software and maybe why we don't have any redundancy or backup systems to step in. And the lower branch, our software failing, well, obviously that branch is going to explore specific reasons why the software failed. And so far so good. But what I'm going to do now is I'm going to go into that focal point and I'm going to put a bit more clarity around it, because actually this investigation, this RCA in fact, is taking place not really purely because the system shut down. It's because the system shut down for a period of time that created significant impacts for the business. An unscheduled system shutdown of a moment or two would not be as significant as a longer shutdown. So actually in this particular RCA, the system shut down for a full 24 hours. So I'm actually going to go into that focal point and I'm just going to correct it, I'm going to update it, and I'm going to add for 24 hours. I'll update that focal point. And then we'll return to our analysis. So unscheduled system shut down for 24 hours. It hasn't changed what we already had on the RCA. The first two causal chains are correct, but it reveals to us actually that now we've updated that focal point, there needs to be a third causal chain. And that's actually that we couldn't get the system up and running for 24 hours. So a third branch would be that system could not be repaired for 24 hours. That tells us that we were down for 24 hours, not through any option, not through any choice. We simply could not get back on our feet for 24 hours. And if we look at this RCA now, we can see how significant it was that that small change in the focal point effectively opened up the scope of our RCA. Imagine it like a torch beam that on the initial focal point was quite narrow, but now we've added the additional information, which is totally critical to this RCA. You can imagine that torch beam just opening up, the aperture has been widened, and our investigation is going to be that much broader. It's absolutely critical that we perhaps investigate all three of those initial causes if we want to reveal all of the causes that cause the unscheduled system shutdown, and not just a limited percentage of them. And by doing that, we'll be able to reveal risk of future shutdowns, and ultimately our set of solutions, our risk reduction, is going to be much greater as a result of that extra clarity around that system shutdown. So I hope that little video was really helpful. If you've got any questions, add those to the comments, and stay tuned for our next update.